Okay, so we're really, really excited to have Olivia with us today, who is going to take us through how to make this beautiful chocolate cake she has in front of her.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for helping organize this. I think it's also kind of ironic because like I put flowers on top, but it's like a flourless cake. Anyway, okay. So I'll introduce myself really quickly. So my name is Olivia. I'm a student in the graduate program of food studies. I'm almost done. I spend my free time. I'm a culinary instructor. I always like to learn. I develop recipes a lot. I'm a food editor for a magazine, but my background is in neuroscience. So I'm really interested in like including things like adaptogens and like chaga, especially in desserts. I like to experiment and like just see how people react to it. And it's really interesting because it's like a stress, anti-stress for in the body. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the ingredients I'm using. I got my chaga from Anima Muni. I guess you could see it here. I'll point it out here. And I really like using it because it complements chocolate really well. I really like that you said that like they use it as a coffee alternative because it definitely has those earthy notes. It's kind of like a milky chocolate, like a earthy, kind of like a chicory. And because this cake is so it's like vegan, it's also gluten-free. There's also no leavener in it, oddly. So every ingredient matters that you put into it. I really like to make it a complete protein, just because again, that's kind of fun for me. So there's lentils in this cake, and I think it's really interesting because sometimes you see recipes that have, you know, like a couple tablespoons, or you see that like chocolate hummus recipe. This has 3 cups of lentils in it. So like in this cake, so like it's mostly lentils, which is pretty fabulous, I think. And then it also has oat flour. So I really like working with oat flour because it makes it kind of tender, but it's also like controls the moisture really well. Like you think about oatmeal too. So it's not too dry. It's not too wet either. And then, I mean, the chaga is a real star, but like also, this is black cocoa. Has anyone worked with black cocoa before? I guess you're all muted, but it's like what they use in Oreos. But now you can buy it. It used to be like a trade secret, but now you can buy it on the market. I got this like this brand. King Arthur is good too. So this one's like single source, organic, fair trade. It's something called ultra Dutch process. So it's like super chocolatey. I really like using it in this cake too because cocoa acts like a flour, I feel like. So it also binds it really nicely. And we're also going to use coconut oil, you'll see, and maple syrup. So I like that you said that they grow on birch trees, the chaga, because I have birch syrup. So now next time I make this, I'm going to try to use birch syrup instead of maple syrup because I think that's kind of fun synergetically. And because this is chocolate cake, I think these are really important. So I have chocolate chips and dates. These are not going to go in the food processor. These are added in because like, yeah, lentils aren't going to taste like cake. Like we need to add some other things. And that's kind of like one of my favorite ingredients, use dates, because it makes it fudgy when you actually work with it. So you all have the recipe. If not, we can link it. But I have the lentils in here. The best thing you can do in this recipe is just make sure they're still warm. Okay, it just helps blend it up. And using coconut oil, which is a good source of energy, but it's a medium chain triglyceride. And it's really nice because when the lentils are warm, the coconut oil will melt. So, and it's also really nice because like when the cake is cooling later, it will help it set. So it's a win-win. So 1/2 cup of that. So it's 3 cups of lentils. They cook really fast too. If you wanted to, you can buy canned lentils, but they cook in like 15 minutes. So it's kind of easy to use. And if you don't have a food processor, you can do this in a blender. You can just make sure that like you add all your wet ingredients. So I'm going to start pulsing this with like the coconut oil, the maple syrup. So it's 2/3 cup maple syrup. And I'm using vanilla extract, but I think it'd be fun to kind of experiment. And you could do almond extract. You can do like hazelnut extract. You can also, if you don't want to use coconut oil, you can do like a walnut, roasted walnut oil. That might be nice. Peppermint, just go easy on that. And fun fact, I made this vanilla like 2 years ago. I think it was like the start of pandemic. It's a bottle of Grey Goose and like 10 vanilla beans I had that were drying out. So now I have a quart of vanilla. It's like my prized possession. So that's what you're gonna start with. You're gonna just blend these, but be patient with this, but blend it until it's not gonna be smooth, but be patient with it because otherwise, like the lentils, when you eat the cake, it's gonna be like a little bit starchy. So it's better to just like incorporate it. So I'm gonna turn on the food processor. I'm not gonna talk over the food processor. But what you can do if you want in the chat, you can leave, like if you were making a variation of this cake, like what would you make? Like I would think it'd be really nice with like cardamom or cinnamon would be really nice. I really like rose water, so that might be interesting. But yeah, if you want to leave it in the comments. Saying that they were still warm. I made them a couple hours ago, and that's why it blended so nicely. I also like using the lentils because they don't have like thick hulls on it like chickpeas. And I did use like beluga lentils, but you can use like brown ones too. These are really cute. They're like little beluga ones. So I'm just adding in the oat flour and the cocoa. And it's a cup of each. If you don't like really intense chocolate flavor, what you can do is you could use like a different cocoa. I like Guittard Red Dutch cocoa. I really like Valrhona, or you can do half and half. You can do some of this black cocoa. And there's also, this is a chaga. I'm adding a tablespoon of it. So you're not gonna like exclusively taste it, but it's such a powerful supplement that I feel like a tablespoon is a good amount. And then you have cake. So I also make this into brownies sometimes. It doesn't rise in the oven, puffs up a little bit. So you can make it as thin or as thick as you want. And this is a cup of dates that I pitted. I tear them by hand. I already did that, so you don't have to watch me do that. This really makes a difference because otherwise, it's just gives a lot of fudgy texture, like a cake, because there's no gluten in this. So you can mix that in. If you do make this cake though, and you're using a food processor, I recommend washing the food processor soon after, because you can see it's super, super fudgy. And what's really fun about this, you can actually eat this as cookie dough. Or make little energy balls out of it. You don't actually have to cook it. Especially because it was pretty hot. So the oat flour kind of calms down. I added about 2/3 of a cup of semi-sweet chips. You can get creative. You can do chunks of it. I wouldn't add way too much of it though, because then if you have a lot of chocolate chips, they get a little bit unstable, the cake. Seems like a good amount. This freezes well. You can freeze the batter as well. And makes like one cake. You can also do it in like little silicone molds as well. Move this out of the way. But I think it's kind of fun as a cake. So I just greased this 10-inch pan, and I also put parchment paper. I put grease on top too. I'm gonna move this creature out of the way. It's very fudgy though. And what's fun about this too is you can bake it for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever you like. If you're transporting it somewhere, like I baked mine for like a 30, 35. But if you like it like kind of fudgy, you can do like a 20-minute bake. Or you can just like, I really like using my air fryer sometimes too. Probably just like take a scoop of this in the air fryer every time you want cake. Like a little mini one. When I make brownies, I would recommend, or if you like a lot of like a little bit of crisp, I do half the recipe, or you do a bigger pan, because and then you can bake it for like 20 minutes. Yeah. And then you have cake. I did make one before, and before it started, so this is it. And you don't have to, you can press it down evenly, but it doesn't matter that much because you're actually going to invert it when it comes out. So it's very user friendly. It's very easy. I was joking before, like now I have 2 cakes and I have like, it'd be fun to have you all here to eat it. I'll show you how it slices. Let me put it back up here. And because it's dense and like, I mean, it's oats, it's lentils, pretty filling. This would serve at least 10 people, I feel like. I like it with ice cream. I like it with like kettle corn on top. It's really nice. I developed this recipe a couple years ago for like our Earth Day event. And then I brought it to the seed library potluck at the urban farm. So it's kind of nice to share with people. I was saying I'm teaching tomorrow morning, so I'll bring it to my students for breakfast, but you can kind of see. It slices very easily. And if you wanted to too, you can do like different toppings. You don't have to put flowers on top. I like edible gold though. I'm a little over the top, so sometimes people laugh like that. I like to put makeup on my food, but a little sparkle. But you can always do like a chocolate drizzle. You could do like a salted caramel. I also do like a little crispy salt on top too. Yeah, chocolate cake. And then because this is so dense, this would freeze beautifully. You can make like ice cream sandwiches with it. Actually, it'd be really interesting to use this as like cookie batter too. That's gonna be my next experiment. But yeah, let me know if you make it. I'm on Instagram. You could just email me too. But I'm curious.
Gorgeous. That's so beautiful.
Too. I'll chat.
Yeah, does anyone have any questions for Olivia about prepping or?
I'm gonna try some. This feels so wrong to just eat this by myself.
We're jealous. We're all jealous of you.
I like the black.
I was gonna say I don't have any questions, but that looks amazing, and I'm definitely gonna make that.
Let me know, because like I'm not like, you know, when people say I'm not like a dessert person, but I don't know, there's something about like the legumes and the chaga. I also like, I mean, it's not fungi, but I also like using maca in desserts too. Lion's mane would be interesting too.
Yeah.
Olivia, have you used chaga in other desserts?
I use it like when I pair it with chocolate mainly. That's like in my brain, it's like chocolate chaga. It just goes well together. I do like cashew lattes sometimes. And so I add it in there too. If I want something caramelly, I'll do more maca. What are other ones I like? Reishi is good, or I have like cordyceps. I think like I don't like adding too much of things just because like I don't know, maybe you all know, but like I don't know exactly like what it does when you have so much of it. You know, it's like individual, but so I usually just choose one to showcase. So chaga is my favorite, but if you can't find it, you can use something else.
Is there a difference between using the powdered form or the like tincture form? I mean, I imagine maybe the alcohol tincture might affect taste, but
you know what? I think that'd be great. I think it's such a little amount. It's like 1 tablespoon. I love tinctures. Actually, like with bitters and stuff, I do reach towards tinctures. I don't think it would make that big of a difference. Because like I said, you can't really like taste it so much. It is earthy and it complements itself, but it's pretty forgiving if you substitute. Or even like, I don't know, maybe I would just like, if I had the tincture, I would just like kind of drizzle it on top a little bit when it was ready. Because I don't know like if baking it makes a difference, you know? I've never thought of that actually. Great question. Because like if I use rose water, I would just like brush it on top maybe after it was done. Good question. Oh, Mexican hot chocolate. That sounds good. Mint sounds delicious. I think mint would be good if you like that kind of thing, because it is like dense, so it's like almost cooling. Cardamom would be good too, or cinnamon. Oh, chilies. That's a good idea. And yeah, really good with ice cream. I highly recommend. Or like an energy bar, actually. Like it's portable. Nothing very crazy in it.
yeah, I liked in some of your instructions, it doesn't necessarily have to be a cake. It could be brownies, or it could be like, you know, you could sort of have it on the go. So
yeah, and it does make a lot. Like, I mean, I took like a piece. It's like at least like 12 to 15 pieces here. So I'm gonna try it as cookies though. I think like they get like kind of crispy, or even in a dehydrator than be raw.
I feel like mint with cookies would be good because you could make like thin mints out of it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I also love that idea of putting it in the air fryer and just having like these little on the go kind of cakes. It's great.
Yeah, and then be like kind of crispy, and your apartment would smell really good too. It's kind of like or you know what, honestly, it'd be really good as a crust now that I'm really thinking about it. Like if you did like a thin layer, especially in the air fryer, on like a little souffle dish, this would make a good crust, or like a tart crust. It's just magical because there's chaga in it. You could do anything with it or eat it raw.
oh my God. Well, thank you again, Olivia, and can't wait to see the next recipe you come up with for us. So
yeah, if you all have any suggestions or requests for like another demo, I think savory next, but let us know. Thanks for coming.
Great.